I heard my fiancé tell his coworker he wishes he'd met her first. Our wedding is in 3 weeks. The wedding invitations were sent. The dress was hanging in my closet, tags removed, alterations complete. Our families had booked flights. The venue was paid for. In 3 weeks, I was supposed to become Mrs. David Chen, and I'd been counting down the days for months. David had been working late a lot recently, which I understood. He'd just gotten promoted to senior developer at his tech company, and with the wedding expenses, the overtime pay was a blessing. He'd come home exhausted, barely able to eat dinner before collapsing into bed. I felt guilty asking him to help with wedding planning when he was working so hard for our future. His coworker Jessica had been incredibly supportive too. She'd even volunteered to help coordinate some vendor deliveries since she worked near our venue. I'd met her a few times at office parties. She was sweet, bubbly, recently single. David always spoke highly of her work ethic. Last Tuesday, I decided to surprise David with lunch at his office. He'd been so stressed, and I thought seeing his favorite Thai food might brighten his day. The receptionist told me he was in conference room B, probably finishing up a meeting. I walked down the familiar hallway, Thai food in hand, planning to wait outside until his meeting ended. The conference room door was glass, but the blinds were usually open. Today they were closed, which was odd for a Tuesday afternoon meeting. I was about to knock when I heard voices inside. David's voice, low and intimate. "We can't keep doing this. The wedding is in 3 weeks." My hand froze inches from the door. A woman's voice, Jessica's voice, replied. "I know, baby. But I can't just turn off how I feel about you, can you?" "No," David said, and I could hear the anguish in his voice. "God, Jess, I wish I'd met you first. Before the engagement, before everything got so complicated." "Maybe it's not too late," Jessica whispered. "Maybe this is the universe telling you something." Through the tiny gap in the blinds, I could see them. David was sitting on the conference table, Jessica standing between his legs, her hands on his chest. They weren't kissing, but the intimacy between them was unmistakable. This wasn't a recent development, this was two people deeply in love, tortured by circumstances. "She's a good person," David said, and I realized with a sick feeling that he was talking about me. "She doesn't deserve this. But Jess, when I'm with you, I feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years." "Is that terrible?" "Love isn't terrible," Jessica said softly. "Even when it's complicated." I backed away from the door, my legs shaking. The Thai food fell from my hands, containers scattering across the hallway floor. A few office workers looked at me with concern, but I couldn't form words to explain. I drove home in a daze. Our apartment looked different somehow. All the wedding planning materials spread across the dining table, the engagement photos on the mantel, the save the date magnets I'd proudly stuck to the refrigerator. Everything felt like a lie. David came home at his usual time, looking tired but forcing a smile. "Hey babe, how was your day?" I stared at him, this man I'd planned to spend my life with, searching his face for signs of the guilt he must be carrying. But he just looked like David. My David, tired from work, asking about my day like he had thousands of times before. "Fine," I managed. "How was yours?" "Same old," he said, kissing my forehead. "Just glad to be home with you."